So they're asking us to write the polynomial in standard form. What that means is to combine all of the like terms and then write them each term from the one with the highest degree all the way down. So we're going to write them in standard form and then name it based on its degree and number of terms. So let's take a look at this first one that we've got. Um, if I look through it and say, is there any like term in here? We've got that negative 11x squared and that positive 6x squared. And so what do we do? Just like I said in the last set of problems, you have the same thing, x squared. So what you're doing is you're combining their coefficients. Negative 11 plus 6 is negative 5x squared. And that's the largest term. That's the term with the highest degree. So we're going to write that first. So we will say negative 5x squared. And then what do? We take the next highest degree term, and that would be the negative 8x. And we continue on. The last thing that's left is the 2. That's a positive 2, so we've got to put plus 2 in front of it. And so first we're looking for that answer in terms of the polynomial, and we can see that that's a. But let's check what it says for the naming it based on its degree and number of terms. Okay, it is a second degree polynomial. When it's a second degree polynomial, essentially what that means is something squared. And the Spanish word for square is cuadrado, right? And you can see that in the word quadratic. Okay, quadratic refers to cuadrado, a square, and it is a squared term. The highest term is a squared term. So since we have the highest degree being 2, and that's x squared, quadratic indicates squared, okay? And then how many terms do we have? We have 1, 2, 3 different terms. Before we combined like terms, we had 4 different parts written, right? Here you have this, and then this, and then this, and then this. But combining like terms, you can see we actually have 3 different types. And 3, tri refers to 3, right? Trinomial is a 3-termed polynomial. So it's a quadratic trinomial. If it said binomial, that's 2. There's more than 2 terms, although that's correct for the part that they show here. It's not the correct answer, but that is a binomial. Cubic is to the 3rd power, and so that already you know that can't be right because this is not a cubic polynomial, right? And anyway, if there's 1, 2, 3 terms, they would say trinomial, not polynomial. When you see the word polynomial, when naming it, then that suggests that it's got 4 or more terms. So if you had 3, you'd call it a trinomial. If you had 2, you'd call it a binomial. If you had 1, you'd call it a monomial. So this one can't even be right because that indicates that it's cubic, and this is not cubic. Same thing here, that says it's cubic, but this is not cubic, that is quadratic, or to the 2nd power. So it's A. Now, moving on, we want to look at number 9 and say, can we combine any terms? And I see that there's a g cubed term, a g squared term, a g term, and a constant term. None of those can be combined. So all we're going to do then is write them in the proper order. That negative 5g cubed, make sure that you keep the negative with it, plus 9g squared, plus 4g, minus 6. So we've written it in the proper order. Notice that there's more than 3 terms. We can't call it a trinomial, binomial, monomial. We'll just call it a polynomial because there's more than 3 terms. Okay? And first we can look through and find that. We see answer C has negative 5g cubed plus 9g squared plus 4g minus 6. So we're going to guess that's right. Let's see if it's correct. They said that it is cubic. It is because it's raised to the 3rd power. And the reason that it's called cubic is because a cube has 3 dimensions, length, width, and height. And since it has 3 dimensions, that's what we get when we're talking about to the 3rd power. And then, of course, like I said, there's 4 terms, and we don't have any way of saying 4 like we do 3, tri, or 2, bi, or 1, mono. for those. So we just call it a polynomial, and that fits with our correct answer. Um, yeah, and again, some of the answers you don't even need to know. Um, I'll do this for the last one. You don't even need to know what the answer works out to be. You can just see that for on number 9, B, it says it's a quadratic binomial, and that's not true. It's not quadratic because it's raised to the third power, that highest term. It's cubic. And it's not a binomial because there's not 2 terms, there's 4 terms. So even if I didn't look at what the original thing was, I could automatically say, well, it's impossible for it to be B because B doesn't even match with itself. Right? Okay, so let's do that for the last one. Um, number 10. 3x minus 6 plus 2x squared. It says not a polynomial for A. No, that's a polynomial. It's not in the right order, but that's a polynomial. So that's not true. B says it's a cubic monomial. Do we see 2 to the third power in there? X to the third power? No, so it's not cubic. Do we see one term? No, we see 3 different terms. So it's not a cubic monomial, so that doesn't even agree with itself. Okay. Um, C, quadratic. Yeah, the highest term is squared. So that's fine. That matches the quadratic. How many terms are there? There's 1, 2, 3. So it's a trinomial. That could be it. We got to look at what the original problem says, but that certainly matches with itself. And D says 2x squared plus 3x minus 6, and it is a 4th degree binomial. Well, do we see a term raised to the 4th power? No, we don't. It's not 4th degree. Do we see only 2 terms making it a binomial? No, we see 3 terms. So it's a trinomial. So it's not a 4th degree binomial at all. So that also can't be. So already we've eliminated all of the answers that don't even agree with themselves and leaving us with C. Let's see if ours actually matches with C. So we write it in the correct order. So we say 2x squared is the highest degree term, and then 3x, and then minus 6. And that's what they list over here. And is it quadratic? Yeah, it's quadratic because it's raised to the second power. Is it a trinomial? Yes, there are 3 terms. And therefore, this answer is C, the only one that could have possibly been correct because it's the only one that even agrees with itself.